What is going on YouTube? Dr. Away here. I'm doing a restart project, and a part of that is educating and teaching the newest members of our journey how to essentially play the game. And if you're looking for the fundamentals, you come to the right fucking place, because I'm going to give them to you. So these first two videos that I'm going to do is basically the fundamentals of the game. I think the most two fundamental parts of the game as it revolves around non-combat stuff. And it's very important because without these two things, you can't do shit in this game. I mean nothing. Um, those two things are peacekeeping and gathering. This one's going to be dedicated to gathering. And it might seem like a beginner's concept, but I'm going to go in depth quite a bit. I only want to make one gathering guide. I don't want to do a beginner's gathering guide and an advanced gathering guide. I don't have time for that. I have a 5-month-old baby. I don't have time to make a video like that anymore. At least split them up. But this is what I am going to do. Gathering, right? Why the fuck is it important to gather? So, the biggest thing is that if you don't gather, you want to try to get as high as possible. I like to use this as a good indicator. It's kind of skewed now because this is a KVK 2 and people have migrated back, but that's neither here nor there. What I will say is I can come here. Let's see, go here, and you can tell. Forget more info. I've gathered 2.9 billion resources. And to give you a comparison, like some of this stuff actually takes quite a bit to upgrade. Let's see, let's take a look at this. Look at that, like 60, 40, 41, like 47 million resources, right? That's just one upgrade. So things can get very expensive very quickly. You need resources for everything in this game. It's your economic backbone. You need it for um, troops, you need it for research, you need it for buildings, you need it for everything. You need to heal your troops. So if you run out of resources, you're done. You're done fighting, you're done building, you're done growing. If this number doesn't go up, you essentially just get blown up, right? You really don't matter. And that's kind of a big thing, is like just the resource production. You're primarily going to get that through gathering. Some people get a lot of it through spending, and you get some through PVE, barb hunting as well. This is about gathering. So I just want to tell you why that's important. Now I'm going to try to, it's already too long of a video, 3 minutes, Jesus. Okay, so now I'm just going to start giving advice. You need to focus on your gathering commanders as early as you can. And if you do, you're going to find yourself to be more successful. In the early game, there's really 4 that stick out: the Sarka, the Constance, the Gaius, and the Centurion. Now, Centurion is a advanced green. He's going to be the quickest. I would say, here's what I would do with the leveling of these 4. Start with these 4. Get each of them to 17, right? Especially the blue ones, get them to 17 really fast. Doing that naturally, you're going to unlock the second skill. Don't put any skills on them until you unlock the second one, because ideally you want all of it to go here. You don't care about the active skill. And then for Constance, I mean, at this point I would just try to unlock all of it, and let them go on either of these, but eventually you're just trying to get all the skills maxed. For Gaius, you want the second and then the third skill. Sarka is second and third skill. And I guess this is kind of relevant if you're still in an early game of troop capacity. And then also the same thing with Centurion. You mainly just want the third skill, and then eventually maybe some troop capacity, maybe. The troop capacity at my stage of the game doesn't even matter. In the early game, it will. So I like to get those because they're a lot easier to get up, and they're just as effective as primaries or secondaries. and because they take less XP, it's actually better to have primary, uh, elites and advanced than it is to have a primary legendary. For one, it takes more stars. As a free to play, you're not going to have the stars to get these to primary, and you need a fuck ton more XP. So that's why you see even at my stage of the game in KVK2 with 26.6 million power, my Cleo, right, ain't went past 20. This one hasn't went past 10. Like, it's that simple. Right, you only need them in secondaries. Tomorrow, you just need that secondary, and only the skills matter. So boom, there you go. Another noteworthy commander, I would say you want to have as many gathering commander primaries as you have slots. So in the early game, you have 2 queues, right, that you can send out units. Let's see here. Why isn't it showing up my queues? Queen by title, but indeed. Okay, so you only have 2 of these, right? Now, you only really need 2 primary gathering commanders, right? But you'll quickly get 3. I say start off with 3. I would start off with Constance, Sarka, fucking Centurion. I mean, Gaius comes in, and then once you get that 4th queue, throw Gaius in there, right? Get him up to 37. All these other ones are 37. And then, try to add a secondary to it. Like if you straight up unlock Cleo, Sundiak, or Tamar, Joan of Arc, just unlocking her second skill gives you, 5%. Doesn't hurt. Throw them on as a secondary. You don't have to level them up past 10 per se. So like just getting that early game bonus. I really like the Joan of Arc as a 5th. Once you get 5 queues, that Joan of Arc is really nice. And I'll show you how I'll send mine out here in a second. So I've talked about focusing on the gathering skills. We talked about primary and secondary gatherers. Basically, the blues and greens are going to be the primaries. You need 1 epic. I just use Joan. You're going to level her up anyway because you want to use her as a secondary. So she's a kind of a natural choice. And then the other big thing that you want to do is that you want to gather on territory. When you gather on territory, this isn't even my territory. My territory is this blue one here. And if you gather on territory, you'll get 25% bonus. I think it might actually mention that. Yeah, gathering speed is increased by 25% when gathering on alliance territory. Yep, it's fundamental. And then I want to say like 5% of the resources will go to the alliance itself. So that's very important. If you want your alliance to have a lot of resources, you have to gather on territory. That's a big part of that. It makes a world of difference. If everybody's gathering on territory, it's insane. Truly insane. Truly insane how many resources you're gonna get. If your whole alliance actively farms, it's not even funny how insane it is. So that's, and then obviously the more important piece of it for you yourself personally is the 25%. But more importantly for the alliance, you'll have more resources than literally every other alliance in the game because everybody sucks at gathering. So now for the early game specifically, what I would recommend is just doing T1 Siege. And the reason for the T1 Siege, let's see here. Okay, not there. I can't. Okay. The reason for the T1 Siege is you see here is 20 load base, right? And T1 Siege are extremely quick to train up. But if you notice here, it takes twice as long for a T2 Siege, and it's only 22 load. It's essentially almost the same. I mean, it's a 10% bonus. Don't get me wrong, but double the time for only 10% of a load bonus is quite hefty, and it doesn't get better. It doesn't get very much better. Right. So in the early game, I mean, you really want to focus on just T1 Siege, and because you might not be able to train 24/7, like overnight, it might be more advantageous for you to train T2 Siege because it'll be training the entire night. You know, you could crew up 8 hours. Maybe not even that much, right? So overnight, I would, tell you to train whatever will get you throughout the night, or farthest in the night. But like, if you're actively online and can check your account, T1 Siege is going to be the definitely way to go because it's the best value. Because then you'll be able to get your gathering commanders with full marches out faster, way faster than everybody else who's training T2, T3. Because you're not going to fight with Siege. You're just not. Too slow. Don't do any damage. Gets wrecked, right? Good for gathering. You always want to use a gathering enhancement. Always. It's an extra, just flat out 50%. It's good at all stages of the game. It doesn't matter if you're fucking just playing the game just now or you're at the stage that I'm at. It's always going to be good. Period. Always pop a gathering enhancement. Always. And what I would say, the last piece of advice is you always want to send Constance to the Alliance pit. And I'm going to explain why. It doesn't even matter if it's gold. So Constance actually doesn't gather gold. She can gather food, wood, and stone. She has no gathering speed for gold. But it doesn't matter because she'll give you 10% more resources on the completion. So, you're going to the Alliance pit, you send her overnight or even throughout the fucking day. Once she comes back, you're banking, even with gold, you can be banking, upwards of 3-4 million gold from that Alliance pit. 10%, that's the extra 400 gold, or change it, 6 or 7,000 sometimes food. 10%, that's 700,000 more food, and that's every day. So and then it's actually more than that because you're getting some, like, I have mine decked out, so it's like an insane amount. Like, I've decked out my console with all this crazy gear, and I'm getting all this extra load and resources upon completion, right? I like to send her. You just send her to the pit because of that. Now, there's other commanders. I want to say something that there is another commander that does that. If you ever get Sundiak expertise, she's insane for gold. Like, you send Constant Sundiak, and you never go back. Now, another good early game one is just Constance and Sarka. Like, that's really good for the pit, especially overnight. Sarka gives you a lot of troop capacity, a lot of that load, so you're able to kind of, if you don't have a lot of siege units, that's like really, really good. Okay, so now I'll show you, I keep pressing random buttons. Now I'll show you, there we go. Now I'll show you what I do. So I still have to wait some minutes for the pit. I usually search for, on territory. I don't really play this account as much. I don't just have the time, so I'm gonna be playing on the other one. So you can fast search, but I highly encourage you to find some nodes on territory. So I set up, like, in a perfect world, Gaius, Ishida, it's the best for fucking food. It just is. It's very optimized. For wood, Constance and Tomar, the new chick, are like the best. But because Constance is used elsewhere, the Joan with Tomar is like very good as well. Joan's good no matter what you gather. For Stone, the Matilda with Cleo is insane. Matilda Cleo is insane. For the gold, it really would. I guess for a gold, if it had to be a particular type of way, like probably Joan with Sundiak, but still Constance has the 10%. So if you're talking about overall for a gold pit, Constance, because of the extra bonus. I'm gonna do another. So because of the way that I'm kind of rocking this, Centurion and Sarka kind of draw the short stick of getting paired up, and I don't think they're a bad pairing. they're actually very versatile as like a last pair to send out, because these other pairs are I've made to be very specific to one type. And then let's say I gather, kind of one of each resource. I don't really gather gold like that. I'm not a whale or in T5 yet, so I don't have a real desire to gather a lot of gold. Um, but I got Centurion Sarka, which is really good for gold. But I mean, it's good for anything, because they don't care about what you're gathering. They're universally good. Uh, so that's how I send out my gathering. Then it's Constance and Sundiak, and I would send them out, but I can't, um, because the pit is not done. God damn it! Yeah, 13 minutes. So that's pretty much, the down and dirty about gathering. I mean, fuck, I did not miss shit. I highly doubt, and if I did, write it in the description, because this is a fucking good ass video. I don't even do the like, share, subscribe bullshit. My content is what it is. It's actually more for the benefit of my alliance than anything else. Legion 4 for life, baby. See you in the next video.